Everyone loves a good old frame perfect jump. In fact, we might love some frame perfect timings a bit too much.
What do you mean by that?
You've probably seen the tight wave gap, perfect orb click, or that iconic half-speed pyramid jump that every silent level seems to have for some reason multiple times before. But what are the rarest ones? I found or even invented 25 creative frame perfect inputs on 60 FPS, and I guarantee you haven't seen most of these before. So without further ado, let's get started with number 1, the coyote jump. If I fall here, I die, and if I jump, I die. However, in old versions or by turning off the fixed gravity bug, you have 1 frame to jump midair as you fall off a block. I think RobTop patched this to not get sued by Wile E. Coyote himself. So if you hit this timing, you live. Threading the needle. With half spikes positioned like this, you can just barely squeeze through and make the jump. The long jump. Yes, every jump is long and the same distance. I know, I can see you commenting, stop it, please. But if you go 7 blocks over and 1 down, you barely make it to the side of the block and clip up to safety. The head hitter. At 2 times speed, you can just barely clear a spike with a ceiling full of H blocks 2 tiles above you. The UFO head hitter. As a mini UFO, you need to clear these 2 spikes by smacking your head into the ceiling. Jump too early and you don't make it. Jump too late and you get 0 big booms. The slope jump. Slopes are pretty cool because the point you jump off them can determine your jump height. So, by placing spikes here and here, you can create a precise timing where you must jump from the middle of the slope. The portal dodger. As the wave, placing 2 cube portals in this formation over some spikes can create a very weird angle you have to pass through. And now time for a trio that I like to call the floor jumps. Spoiler alert, they involve jumping through gaps in the floor, no way! At half speed, setting 2 half blocks opposite to each other allows you to slide on by and land below. At normal speed, you can pop out from below like it's Groundhog Day between a normal and half block spaced out by a single tile. At 4x speed, you only have 1 frame to fall between a 2 block hole in the floor. With the first 10 out of the way, I'll quickly mention that all of the objects I've used are actually perfectly on a grid space, meaning I did not use any of these small positional movements similar to the level every end. So, if you want to try any of these frame perfects for yourself, feel free to slightly adjust them as needed for higher frame rates. The glitch. Jumping into the bottom of a vertical slope actually causes the game to freak out and teleport you up. If you do this at the very corner, you can clear 4 spikes. Dear nostalgists, what if we turned speed portals into an obstacle? We have to jump between these sets of spikes and not hit this one at the top, but if we're at 3 times speed, that becomes impossible. So, we have to dodge the speed portal altogether and stay at 2 times speed. The ball jump. If you jump right before a ball portal, you can actually clear 5 spikes. This one is too iconic to leave out. I know it's not the most obscure, but why do we stop putting this in levels? Please bring it back, guys. The ball jump. If you jump right before a ball portal, nah, just kidding, lol. If you place a horizontal gravity portal and 2 spikes as shown here, you can create a frame perfect sort of jump to swing on through. The in-betweener. This requires you to have at least 1 block of height. You can't clear all the spikes from the ledge up here, so you have to jump early and land perfectly in this 1 block of safe ground. The block dodger. Landing on this block prevents you from falling down in time. If you do a double jump to gain slightly more height, you can completely avoid the 2 block pillar and fall faster to pass this setup. The weird hitboxes. At 4 times speed, a 7 block jump starting with this weird ground spike and ending with a normal one is just barely possible. The fall of faith. In this wave corridor, you need to hit the cube portal at the perfect time. Fun fact, you can actually get around the spike slalom if you press super late, but then you get bodied by this triple spike I put after. Quantum Quantus processing. Both these levels have some crazy gear jumps perfectly adjusted to drive you insane, but even at half speed, a gear placed normally on this tile is a frame perfect jump. Claustrophobia. With this setup of normal and vertical slopes with the appropriate ground spikes, the ball can graze but not die to the corridor. I can only imagine how claustrophobic this poor guy must feel right now. Now onto my personal favorite, number 5. You use 5 fingers on each hand to navigate to the subscribe button and click it right now, and if it was perfect, you'll never die at 92% ever again. Okay, stop. Did that work? 5, and 9, 2? Not the cool frame perfects, guys. But don't unsubscribe, though. Please, Rob Top. I need this. My cube's kind of jumpless. The In-Betweener Part 2. This time with jump pads, you don't need an extra block of height and can do it all at ground level. Hitbox abuse. As a wave, you can actually squeeze through this configuration. To make it more interesting, I added a mini cube above that you need to continue onwards. If you try to cheese the level any other way, you fly away to your demise. Unless you're pure L, then you can just spam through this part. The jumpant. If you hold down jump, you actually go higher and die to the saw here. But if you click on the exact same frame you land, which doesn't count as a double jump, your height gets lowered enough to survive. Robot jump pad. In older versions or with fixed robot bug turned off, jumping on the first frame of hitting a pad boosts you super high. For an extra challenge, these spikes here require you to release shortly after jumping. Last but not least, the 2-for-1 special. This ship setup requires a frame perfect hold and release to swing through this Element 111RG layout. Don't mess up at the triple spike after, and GG.